Good afternoon. So let's talk about the personal brand statement. For some of you, this might be the first time you've heard a personal brand statement. Easy way to define it is like an elevator pitch and then times 10. So it really starts to focus more on you as the individual and what you bring to it than what you bring to the company who's going to bring you something to. So our objectives in this presentation is we'll talk about what a brand is. A personal brand is important. How to identify what your personal brand is. Give you an opportunity to draft a personal brand statement, and then how to keep using it after you get your initial creation down. So first, what's a brand? Brand is a name, term, design, symbol, or any other feature that identifies a seller's good or service. We're all familiar with brands. Actually, what we think of as a brand is when we see someone's logo, right? Like Nike or Ford or any of those. We're like, oh, that's a brand. No, that's really logo. But we'll get into more of what a brand is. The brand really gives that product or service an identity. In today's marketplace, there's so many different products and services. A brand kind of stands out from the clutter and attracts attention. So here are some logos of brands. A brand is not a logo. It's not an identity. A brand is not a product. A brand is a person's gut feeling about that product, service, or organization. So brands are about feelings, and feelings are complicated. As I'm sure right now, as you're looking at those logos, some of them make you feel happy, some of them make you feel sad, some of them you're like, they suck, right? Because of your personal experience with them. They might provide, if you ask someone to explain why they feel about a brand, it's hard to pin down. They might provide a list of rational lists and reasons for it, but not necessarily be able to tell you exactly why. So here are some examples of brands. So what words or feelings come to mind when you see these brands? And go ahead and shout them out. Tell me what you're thinking when you see these. Quality yourself. What's that?
Quality.
Quality.
Family.
Family. Okay. So these are all family, all feelings about what it is you're thinking about for this. So a personal brand statement is a widely recognized and largely uniform perception or impression of an individual based on experience, expertise, competencies, actions, or achievements within a community, industry, or marketplace. So what you want people to think of when they think of you and your personal brand is what their feeling is about you. So what makes a personal brand different from brands that we were just looking at with those logos? Is very similar to a corporate brand. If someone's thinking about you, what is the feeling you want them to have? It's who you are, what you stand for, what your values are, and it's how you express those values. Just as a company brand communicates value to customers, when people think of you, you want them to think of the value that you bring to them. It's your unique combination of skills and experiences that make you, you. Effective personal branding will differentiate you from other professionals. Okay, so what your personal brand statement, what you want it to convey is identity and connection. Your personal brand is the unique combination of skills and experiences that make you who you are and what value you offer to people. In other words, your personal brand is how you represent and promote yourself to others. It's the way you showcase your experience, skills, and personality to the world. A personal brand includes descriptive words that clearly describe what you stand for as far as your values and abilities and actions, and what your character is and what your performance is. It tells your audience three things, put those things together: who you are, what you do, and what makes you different, or how you create value for others. And those last three things, what goes in an elevator pitch? Those same things, right? So let's talk about why your personal brand is important. All of these things that you see on the screen, they connect together. Personal branding can help you control the narrative about yourself and introduce you in the best way possible. You never get a chance to make a first impression or second chance to make a first impression. You want to make one that will set you apart, build trust, and reflect who you are right away. Studies show that it takes 3 seconds for someone to make a lasting and complete impression of you. God, I hope your first 3 seconds were good. So the first thing that you see on the screen there is creates trust. Your personal brand explains why you do things and what you do. Building a positive personal brand makes people feel more comfortable as if they know you. It establishes trust with your audience, employers, clients, and anyone else who you come in contact with. Having a personal brand also clearly defines what your genuine intentions are, which is key when building trust. It also includes networking, which is the theme of today, right? So network, personal branding, it gives a person a chance to connect with, allows you to become very specific to people in your field. There's no limit to personal branding. As your reputation builds, you will get more exposure, leading to a positive influence and great opportunities. After all, you are the best at what you do, right? Oh, come on, give me some nods. There, thank you. Build a network of people that you value and care about, and build relationships. When they realize that you care about them, they'll start to care about you. Now, conversely, if your behavior suggests a negative personal brand, your opportunities to network will diminish as people are less likely to include you in their circles. Number 3 is it builds credibility. Personal branding allows you to establish your name as a thought leader or an expert in your field. It helps in gaining recognition in your area of specialty and builds a lasting impression. Admiration, respect, and trust will go a long way with the person's name. It's the ability that people are looking for, not just a physical thing that you can offer. And it builds confidence. Okay, so we left off with building confidence. You'll gain confidence from developing your personal brand. The confidence will come from your positive qualities and strengths that you share. But it's important to remember that everyone is human. Your struggles and challenges can endure a great response in your network too. And I think that's important because it leads to authenticity. Okay, none of us are perfect. Don't tell my husband I said that. I'm trying to keep that a little bit going there. But none of us are. So when you really become relatable to know that your struggles are somebody else's struggles, and vice versa. So don't be afraid to shy away from the things that are challenges for you too. A good personal brand will emphasize your strengths as an individual, where to use those strengths. In addition to building your confidence, it enhances your authenticity, and that's a big one. A personal brand comes from passion and skills and goals and values. It will help you grow from something you believe in to something you can actually live day to day. So don't be fake. You want to be the person that you are, flaws and all, because they want exactly who you are, no one else. So for personal brands, here's a couple of people that you might recognize. Jeff Bezos, everybody knows what that is, I guess. Branding is what people say about you when you are not. And Tom Peters, writer, he may not be as familiar. He's actually within management business circles, a pretty well-known author. He's got some great stuff if you're not familiar with him. And his quote is, "We are CEOs of our own companies, meaning being in business today, our most important job is to be head marketer for the brand called you." So let's talk about personal brand. Really, your personal brand is what connects how you see yourself and how others see you. Okay. You want it's an ongoing process of creating, establishing, and communicating a clear statement or image of who you are to others. Your personal brand is not just defined by you. Looking at this slide, you can see that your personal brand is that bright green section. It's the combination of how you see yourself and how others see you. But this can also be a gap. The gap being the difference in how you perceive yourself and then how others perceive you. So others perceive me as being pretty punctual. I can tell you I am racing to get where I need to go because I leave at the last possible minute. But if I walk in with a smile, okay. So that's the gap. For me, I would say I'm never punctual, that I'm always, always crazy. Always. I view it as a weakness. But as long as I'm walking the door on time, others can see it straight. That's a gap. So you want to be known for X, but people think of you as Y. So how do you minimize that gap? And how are you perceived by others? Unless you can read minds, most likely you are guessing what other people think. It's not usually very accurate, mostly because we have a hard time understanding ourselves. So that makes it harder to understand other people and how they would see you. So that gap is self-perception versus other people's perception. So things to think about. We're gonna take a minute here. How you see yourself and how others see you. So I actually did an exercise on this, and then later in a few slides, just some other things. I actually posted on social media and asked people to tell me what they thought of me. It is scary.
Yeah.
And well, I came to the conclusion that if they're my friends on social media, they probably like me, so nobody said bad things. Okay, and I'm gonna take in some bad things. But I got lots and lots of bad, more than what you're gonna see on here. And then while I was waiting for that to come in, I sat and made my own list of how I saw myself. So I encourage you to make a diagram like this or do this exercise at some point. Make a list of how you see yourself. You think you're dependable, you think you're reliable, you think you're really good at your job, you're passionate, any of those things. Make a list. Then make a list of how you think other people see you. Then ask. Okay. I had picked Facebook for social media, partly because I'm old, and partly because I've been on there for 13 years. So on my Facebook side of things, I have former coworkers, former employees, friends, family. Like I felt it was the most like diverse ones to tap into. Which you could ask your office colleagues, anybody, just to get a few ideas of what other people think. And then the words, how you see yourself, the words for how others see you, were the common ones. That's the myth. So think about somebody you admire, what qualities do they possess, what are their strengths and values, and what are they known for? So when I say that, somebody probably popped in your head. There could be somebody at work that you're like, oh, I really like this person. I wish I could be more like them. Might be a celebrity, whoever it is. It might be your grandma. God, I wish your grandma cool. But what qualities do they have, and what is it that you wish was there for you? So then, like we just talked about, take some of those same questions and ask yourself what you are. So what words do you think describe you? What are your strengths and values? What do you want to be known for? Is there anything you don't want to be known for? So what we're going to do is we're going to take those words at some point after you do this exercise. You're going to build your personal brand statement. And that's 1 to 3 sentences that explain what you do, what makes you unique, your experience and expertise, and your passion and purpose. Again, I will point out, for those of us that have been through the elevator pitch stuff, this is everything in an elevator pitch, right? It sums up your experience, your expertise, your passion, and purpose so that people can easily understand who you are and what it is you have to offer. You create your personal brand statement from your personal brand. So all those words that we just gathered, that's what you're going to use to build it. So there's a couple of things that go into that. When you're doing your words, think about the emotional modifier. How do you make people feel? How do people benefit by working with me? And what words do others use to describe me? So when I did my exercise, as far as like emotional type words, I got things like that. I'm passionate or empathetic, that I'm very family oriented, things like that. So those are more emotional modifiers, and not so much, hard, this is my skill, but kind of that feeling again that we're back to that people have when they think about it. And then clarifying modifiers. These are the more exact things like what field or industry you're in, what words to use to describe your work, and who's your target audience. So just like an elevator pitch, your personal brand statement might be a little bit different today with you're representing your employer, your company, whatever you're talking, than it would be in another situation. So a couple of examples that people have come up with before. I help production facilities streamline their processes so that they can minimize waste and boost their profits. I like that one, but there's no like emotional modifier, right? There's nothing that stands out as much. I help high net worth entrepreneurs strategically invest so that they can spend more time doing what they love and less time worrying about the money. As a former entrepreneur, I've leveraged the little known tax secrets that aren't taught in school, saving my clients hundreds of thousands of dollars. That one has that was better. It has a lot of value in it, what the background is, but that creates that value for the people that they're talking to. So I've given this a lot of thought, and I did my little exercises and all that stuff. And so this is what I came up with for mine. I'm an energetic and experienced word engineer, committed to enthusiastically crafting creative and engaging proposals to win more work by ensuring what you want to say matches the audience requirements. I do this by leveraging 15 years of federal, state, and local government proposal experience, netting over $6 billion contract value wins. Success is measured by business growth, relationships, and satisfied clients. So I tried to pull in everything, right? I have some feeling words in there. I have what the clarifying modifiers, what it is that I do. And hopefully what somebody working with me can expect to get. So when you're ready to put it all together, this is the basic framework to start. So you want to start with I am a, and start with the adjectives and those emotional modifiers that you came up with to include in there, and what it is that you are or do. Committed to, so that's where you're going to talk about your purpose, what it is that you value, and then by the action that you take. So if you start with these three things, you can come up with a couple of pretty simple sentences to at least get you started. My brand statement, I probably worked on, honestly, for over 3 weeks by the time I got all the words in and then put everything together and then thought about it. And then I'm a writer, so I wanted to have alliteration and be fun and, you know, all that sort of stuff. But I really started with this simple exercise right here. And once you have it, you will change over time. You as a person, because you grow and mature or learn new things. You and your role as your company, that's like change these things. So once you have your personal brand statement, it's going to change with you. It's going to evolve. So right now you can use it in client introductions and meetings, your email signature, out in social media. Mine's out there on my LinkedIn profile, things like that. And then as things change, just keep changing it with you. You might wake up in the middle of the night and think of a really cool thing to add in there. I know I'm here. Okay. So just change it as you grow, because your personal brand will change it over time. So what we talked about, what a brand is. We all know it's not a logo. What a personal brand is and how important it is and what the meaning of it should be. A tool, you build your own personal brand statement, and then the ways that you can use and maintain it. So, any questions? Okay, so the middle should be the words are the same in the list you get and what other people see, and then what you see in yourself. So like if I were to ask you and you say I'm dependable and I think I'm dependable, and that would go in the middle, and what was the word, middle word of one side of the brand statement. You could use that, because remember, it's not just something you believe in, but something you want to accept. So if other people see it in you and you don't see it in yourself, that's something you could live into. That could be part of your brand statement too. Yeah. All right, thank you. I'm going to turn it over to Aina.
Thank you.
All right. Well, how many of you guys know who we are? WPI? Anyone? Nah, okay. We're funded by the Department of Defense. We're, as of October 1st, now rebranded an Apex Accelerator. We've been in business for, this will be our 36th year. Our purpose is to help people with government contracting. We work with about 1,300 businesses a year, do about 100 trainings. Do I click something? Oh. Gotcha, lady. Okay, page down.
Nope.
Oh, page down worked for me.
Okay.
So we have offices. I go to the office every day in Milwaukee and Wauwatosa. We have a full-time office in Camp Douglas up the road here a piece. And then we have part-time offices around the state. We have a staff of 16 that helps federal, state, local, defense, cyber. One of our staff presented the cyber session this morning. So that's what we're paid to do. So some basics on presenting your business if you're interested in working with the government, right? You need a business card. How many of you? No, I shouldn't embarrass anyone. Okay. You have to have a short verbal introduction. We started some work on that today. Be willing and able, a little longer, right? Because if I ask you what you do and I'm passing the hall, do I really want to know your life story? No, I want in 2 sentences, you tell me what you can do and I'll turn you on or turn you on. Okay. When you meet with buyers, when you meet with large prime contractors, how much time do you think they're really giving you in their brain? 5 seconds, 10 seconds. If they don't hook you then, I think you mentioned 3 seconds, you're done. So get into that mind. How many of you are on social media? Somewhere. If you're not, you better wake up, okay? All of you that are professional business people in this room should have a LinkedIn profile, yes?
Yes.
All right. Facebook, I don't like, that's me, okay? Twitter depends, but LinkedIn as a person and as a business, if I meet you and I go home and I'm gonna check you out, where do I go first? I check you out on LinkedIn, then I look up your company on the internet. How many of you have a website? Everyone's hand should be going up in this today's culture. It's not a big deal anymore. Okay, right? Say yes to everything I say. Okay.
Yes.
You also have to be virtual and in-person capable. Now you can see my technology capabilities a little rusty here today. But you should be able to present on a virtual call to the screen or in person like here today, comfortably and in a very prepared manner. Okay, you're being judged. Every time you meet with a buyer, every time you meet with a corporation, you're being judged and you got a few seconds to make it or break it, right? What we're going to talk about mostly today is your capability statement. How many of you have one? How many of you like what you have? Okay, if you have hands there. All right, what's it for? It's basically to tell someone in one page what you do, right? It also makes you think about what you do and make it concise and tight, right? You can have a presentation, you don't have to have pictures. It highlights your strengths and weaknesses, right? It makes you think through what you want to show. And Marci talked about that. It's how other people see you, right? You want to be seen a certain way in this one-page document to the person you're selling to, right? A bad capability statement, you're done. If you give me a capability statement and there's 3 typos, you're kind of done with me, right? Because that means you didn't take the time to do it right. Okay? I really will say that to you when you show me that one. And also, remember on the other side of your table, the government or the prime doesn't care what you want. They care what they want. You've heard that I think several times this morning from multiple people. Doesn't matter if you're proud of something, they really don't care. Unless it gives them something. Okay? So what they want to see is that you're an established business, your sales history, you have good past performance. They want to see that you don't have 50 million NAICS codes on your capability statement from selling health supplies to doing concrete, because what they see is you don't know what you can do. Right? You have to show what you can do, what you're good at, and what they want. You have to reflect that you have adequate resources. You have to include your small business certifications, your quality levels, your technical licenses, anything that would make me want you, right? What gives you value? They also look for integrity, ethics, all that kind of stuff. Something that's become more and more is that internet capability. On your capability statement, websites, how many of you, well, I'm going to embarrass you if I ask you to raise your hands. They don't want to know everything about you. They don't care. They want to know what they want to know to make a decision on if you go on the okay pile or the not okay pile. That's all this is for. This isn't a marketing piece. This isn't beauty, anything. This is, do I want you? Do I not want you? That's what you're trying to get to them, right? So these are the 5 elements that you want to include. Your company data, core competencies, contact information, differentiators, and past performance. Like I said, this is a data sheet. This isn't, some will look better than others, want it to look attractive, but this is not marketing, right? This is tell me who you are and what you can do. Yes.
So on the tell me who you are part.
Here, speak into this little thing.
So on the company data part, and a lot of us do this. We start talking about our company and we're like, well, we started in 2010 and this is what we get. They don't care on this, guys.
Yeah.
Right. That's a bullet point.
Yes.
It's not a history.
They don't care if you have a fake knee, that you're, none of that stuff.
So So a lot of times when I work with companies on capability statements, when I ask for a firm history, I get about 3 paragraphs of stuff I'm not gonna use. And about 3 sentences of stuff that we, because when they're looking at that, they're worried about now. They don't care what you did in 2019, they don't care what you did in 2015, what are you doing right now? So to that end, on these things, past performance, update this, guys, don't give them projects that you did in 2020. Okay, if you've done projects since then, you need to show it. Now, if your biggest and best project is 2020, that's still relevant enough. If your biggest and best is 2010, it's not. So again, these are just snapshot highlights in all of these different areas.
Absolutely. So, company data, how many of you know what your NAICS codes are? You should all be raising your hands. All right, who of you knows what a UEI is?
I do.
What, I know you do. What is it? Okay, no one said there would be a quiz, okay? You're here specifically for WisDOT. I would encourage you to expand your scope of what government means to possibly federal work, local work, state work. We're located here not too far from military bases. We have a national forest, we have VA hospitals. Start broadening your scopes. Some of you have, okay? Basically, a UEI and cage code is on the federal side. Okay?
A UEI replaced the DUNS number.
Yeah.
So if you know what your DUNS number is, last year the government switched to unique entity identifier. So that's what UEI is. And it's a different number. Your DUNS number didn't become your UEI. If you're on sam.gov, you need to go out and find out what your UEI is.
And make sure you're. It's gone. DUNS number's gone. Basically the thing here, right? You need to know, because if I'm looking for someone that's 518210. I'll know that that's what I'm looking for. You gotta tell me you know you are that whatever it is, okay? Very specific and very tight.
And on the subject of NAICS code, why she said only a few, so you avoid the whole thing. Even if you can do more, that's great. If you got a contract coming your way that you need to add that NAICS code to your profile, you could add it later. But right now, this should be your top 3 things at most.
Yeah. Don't make it look like you don't know what you're doing. Because the last thing anyone wants to hear is the answer to, so what do you do? And you can say, well, what do you need? You're done. Be specific and be focused. You can have more than one capability statement. If you work with WisDOT, you can have one. If you work with the federal, you can have another. If you work with the city of Madison, you can have another. In today's technology world, this isn't that big a deal to make a capability statement once you have the data, okay? So, core competencies, here's an example. Bullet points, clean, you mentioned that before too. You want to be specific. What can you do? Okay, here, 1-day installation and removal, filtered HVAC, specific. Okay. Contact information. I really push, get rid of your Gmails, Yahoos, and AOLs. I'm seeing more AOLs lately. I don't know where they're coming from. But if you're in business, look like a business, don't look like a person. Okay. No PO boxes, you have to have a place. If you have a PO box, I'm assuming you're a startup or teeny or don't have much capacity or capability. Telephones, office and cell if you have both, and include your website, social media. And who knows what this little sprinkly thing is, that little square, what is that?
QR code.
A QR code. Why are those being used more now? What does that link to probably? The contacts are your website. And most people under the age of 40 know how to use this. I would say 50-50 if you're over. Okay, I was just taught, so I know now too. Complete address, okay? And make sure that if you change your email or you change your phone number, your capability statement kind of changes that too. Or no one's gonna try real hard to reach you if they can't reach you. Also, check for typos on phone numbers.
So I'm looking at.
Yep.
Okay, so on the subject too of social media and the website, please keep those current. A lot of times when you go into business, small business development, people will tell you, get on social media. And so
you're all excited about being in business, right? So you go and set up Twitter and, you know, Facebook and all of the things. But if you don't like Twitter, you're never going up there and updating it. If somebody finds you on Twitter and you haven't had a post since 2017, what are they gonna think about your business? Right? So if you have ones you set up and never use, nix them, okay? Pick one or two that really are effective for you, that are good for your industry. Stay on those and keep them up to date. Update your projects on your websites. Do posts out on your social media. There's plenty of tools now, even within Facebook itself. You can advance, schedule those. So take a half hour every day, plan 8 or 10 posts, sprinkle them out over the next month. And then keep going. But you have to keep those current, because if they do follow that link or that QR code and there's nothing new since 4 months ago, you put doubt in their mind, right? So we want to remove all that doubt.
And this is like low cost stuff. We're not talking hiring a marketing firm for 20 grand, right? This is simple, easy stuff. Okay, differentiators. I recommend don't use your certification as a differentiator, because as you see today, there's a whole bunch that you're competing with the same certification. It goes much deeper than that. You want to make sure people know, for the people you're talking to, it's that you are certified, but it's not a differentiator. It's what sets you apart. And for that, you have to do your homework. You have to know your competitors. You have to know what's out in the marketplace. Why you are the best. Okay, and it's not because you're a DBE with a certain NAICS code.
Or use completely general differentiators. Like most capability statement questionnaires I get back, one of the differentiators is customer service.
Who cares?
Okay, that's not a differentiator.
It's assumed you're gonna do that.
Right. So if you really think your customer service is above and beyond, what is it that makes your customer service above and beyond? Do you respond within an hour or whatever it is? But what elevates that compared to others in your industry? Don't just say customer service, because it's an easy go-to. Okay.
Do you like that remarkable, by the way?
I love it.
I'm looking at getting one. Okay,
We'll talk
all right, we'll talk about it. All right, past performance. This is a big deal. How come? The government doesn't like risk. Your past performance will define the risk level of your potential future work, right? So you want to make sure, and as was mentioned, you want to present current past performance. If it's something very special, past performance. Do not include customer detail. And do not include anything your competitor could see and take. I see people in DSBS, you guys don't know what that is, maybe because you're not on the federal side, but you never want to advertise to your competitors special things, right? Does that make sense? We get kind of weird face it, but you shouldn't be using anyone's logos. Like if you do work for Michael's, unless Michael says it's okay for you to advertise that you do work for them, you should be cautious. Okay, because you are using them to elevate yourself. If you have accolades because you won this lead thing or you did this road and you got awarded by Governor Evers or something, include that because that shows your credibility. So what's wrong with these? This is a quiz. What's wrong with the one on the left? Very good. There's nothing there to show what you're doing. It's the certifications don't count. What's wrong with the one on the right side? What's the big missing thing on that one? Say it again. No, it's big. It's more obvious than that. Nah, don't say. No, it's more simple. There's no contact information. So who cares? I mean, who am I gonna call? And don't say Ghostbuster, that's kind of funny. All right.
Okay, and on the contact info, just another note, back to the generic
Yeah.
email things. Don't put government POC at yourcompany.com. Like give them somebody to ask for.
I've heard that you want an individual with a name, a title. So if you're the owner, say so, you're the president, or if you're the business development, or you're an engineer, say it. Because that will lend credibility. If it's just a general email, that's the order department, no one's gonna think much of that. I've seen this capability statement used by a number of government agencies when they teach this. So just say, in their mind, that's what they like. I don't agree with it, but again, we're looking at the other side of the table. We're not looking at what we want. Every capabilities will be different. Every capability statement will be different. It will look different. It should include all 5 elements. It should identify your company's identity and brand, although we're talking corporate brand here. It can be simple and it should look good. It does not have to look fancy. This is not a marketing piece. But if you just look at this page, it looks simple, it looks clean, right? It's not all garbled up and it's not all different fonts and it's not all different colors and that kind
And
of.
you want those big headers. You want,
Yes.
when they're skimming it, because if you're in front of a contracting officer or a decision maker at the prime, they're looking at 12 of these. They want to be able to find what they want, where they want it. And if they have to hunt, they're going to put it down, right? It's like if a web page takes too long to load, you just go to a different website. Same thing.
Yep. So remember too, let's say Michael's was at a table and 20 businesses were lining up to meet with him. What's he gonna remember out of those 20 businesses? You wanna be the one he remembers for good things, right? Now, if you go to Google and just say government capability statement, you'll get a whole bunch of templates, a whole bunch of samples. Some are good, some are bad, but you can see what other people are doing and say, I like this one, I don't like this one. This is really bad, or this is really good, and you'll see what looks easy and informative. Very important, have someone else look at it, oh yes, please. You can use them, but remember you have 1 page. I usually don't recommend, don't put your picture on there. I usually don't recommend putting a facility unless there's a reason for it, like it's got special security that matters. I would put in construction or road work, I would put a project that you've done or 2, right? Show them what you've done. Don't put fluffy stuff. It's not meant to be cute. It's meant to impress me, right? I say me, but you know, I'm on the other side of the table thing. Okay? You want to look low risk, professional, capable. You want to look like you can build your capacity overnight. You just want to look strong. That's what this is for. Keep it business. Do not include any competitor information. You'd be amazed what you see. Do that Google search, you'll see some bad ones. It should be living, as Marci said. Clarity and focus. Again, don't tell them everything. Just tell them what they want. Okay, that's us. Any questions?
Okay, just a little pitch because Natalie and Roz would be mad if I didn't say this.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're a certified DB with them, my services are available for capability statements. There's a questionnaire to fill out. Roz can send it to you or I can send it to you. You fill it out, you send it to me, I get a thumbs up from them, and then I help you make that capability statement. So if you're sitting here thinking, I have no idea how to format this thing, I'm worried about my spelling ability, whatever it is, I'm a resource that you can use through the DP services.
We do, just saying. Any more questions? So we're at 5:10. Is there any closing stuff or should I say hit the bar?
Hold on.
Thank you again for joining us. This was really informative and you can see the 2 different personalities here that are giving you so much different information that all gets to where you want to be. So
Well,
you are absolutely.
It's to fit you. What she does isn't gonna be what you do. It's all packaged.
Exactly. So if there are not any more questions, we do ask that you fill out the evaluation for this course. I'm actually gonna fill it out. Your moderator. See, I don't.
It better be
impress-
good. It's like.
I don't impress, see.
I think you're fearing.
I am, otherwise I wouldn't say that. How many people in this room know me? Okay. I know what you think of me too. I'm good with that. So with that, not just the absolute true statement that I do not impress easy. So lady, I hope y'all listen because what they told you, I listened because I'm your resource. So I hope y'all listen and understand that it's you that has to brand you and your company. And what they're saying, don't say you can do something that you can't do.
Oh, one more thing,
I forgot what it was.
Go ahead. I can't comment on that because I just look at the business side. I don't care about you as a person.
So.
Yeah, you don't need to say this.
So my thoughts on that would be this, and looking at the people that are here. You're either here, it's nice to be here. You're either here because you start the company and you want to see it grow, or you're very invested in. So I would bet those personality traits that are going to have seeped into your firm culture somehow. You know what I mean? So when you're looking at the firm materials, that's kind of what you want to have it represent. You know, it is branding, yes, but it's also about a culture of success and how you deliver that success. So that's where the blend would be.
And remember when we started, we said business card, pitch, capability statement, all that stuff. All this has to be packaged to make you look like one thing. Right? Because like she said, brand is an important word. It's how we identify your business. Like when you see a red and white truck on the highway, what do you think it is right away? Oh, come on, you guys. Michaels, right? Michaels. And when you hear Michaels, what do you think of? Well, they're a quality company. They're a top shelf company. So tying that together, that is the company, the individuals that run that company.
Am I
Okay.
Lila. You can release them to go to the park.
All right.
Tomorrow. We do have our networking sessions. We have networking with contractors, networking with consultants. We have the trans people, graduates coming here tomorrow to network with contractors. And we also have WisDOT here to network with contractors, consultants, DDE contractors, and DDE consultants. And those are my babies, and I expect to see them there.
That sounds threatening.
Thank you.